Nice and big.
Welcome to another Nothing But Fishing. First off, I want to apologise for the lack of morning ambient shots. Normally I set an alarm, get up bright and early, go to the lake and get some lovely shots of the mist going across the lake. But today I just couldn't be arsed. It is now 10 o'clock and I still haven't even gone fishing. I've had some breakfast, about to finish my cup of tea, and then we're going to go and hit the lake. Today I'm going to do something a little bit different. As a lot of you will know, if you've watched a lot of my videos, I have never had any confidence in zigs. I think I've only ever hooked and landed one fish on a zig. The day I lost confidence in zigs was when I was fishing on the main lake a couple of years ago, and I had a run on a zig, 5-foot zig, and it came off after about 10 seconds, and I just hated the fact that I lost a fish. But I've also had a few runs since and it's just not really picked up, and I just never had any confidence in it. So yesterday I rigged up my rods with zigs. I've got a load of sloppy spod mix and a spod rod. I'm going to go to a local water to me, Shearwater. I know a lot of people have used this method, great effect on there, so I thought where a better place to start to get some confidence in a method than Shearwater. That's the plan of attack. I hope it pays off. I'm really hopeful we'll have a few fish and that we'll have a good session, and also it'll just give me confidence in a method that I've never had confidence in before, so that if the opportunity comes up again to use zigs, I'll think I'll put the zig out because I'm confident in it. We've arrived at the lake. It is now 10 past 11. Bit of a slower journey here because 1, slow traffic, and 2, I took a wrong turn and did an extra 2 miles, but I don't mind. As you can see behind me, I got a new cart wagon. Mainly got it from a new job, a lot of motorway driving, so it's got a bigger turbo diesel engine, but also I can fling all my gear in the back really easily. So I've gone from a beige Mondeo estate to a Volvo V50, so ladies, keep your pants on. All joking aside, let's get the rods out. I've got a marker float first to check the depths. Then I'm going to clip up the swan, fish accurately, put a couple of zigs out. We've been here nearly an hour now, and it's purely just been setting up. I marker floated and I've done the depth, and it's around 15 to 17 foot out there, so pretty deep. I've got a 6-foot and an 8-foot zig on there, so I'm going to be fishing quite a bit below mid-water actually, but as I don't have anyone else with me, I don't really want to be faffing around with a 15-foot long zig trying to net it. So I've gone for sort of mid-depth to start with, clipped up the spawn rod as well, and as you see, very sloppy spod mix. Yesterday I put on Facebook asking everyone what they put in their sloppy spod mixes, and I took on most everyone's advice. I've got hemp milk, rice pudding, oats, some cereal, sweet corn blended up, bread blended up, micro pellet, dog biscuits soaked and crumbed up and broken down. So loads of different things in there. Hopefully that's all going to sit in different layers, but the condensed milk and the milky stuff I've got in there is going to cloud it up. All the different particles are going to sit at different layers, so I'm hoping that that's going to work. I've got 2 whole buckets load in there. I'm going to spot out about 20 spods now, then put the rods out, and every sort of 10-15 minutes, or see how the bites are going, I'll keep spodding over the top of it. If I'm not getting any bites, I'll adjust the zig depths, maybe try and go a bit higher. There's a bit of a dam wall here, so I might be able to get a few more foot on each rig, but we'll see, and hopefully we'll have a few fish and I'll get some confidence in the method. I've put out 15 spawns, and it seems like quite a big amount actually, so I'm going to put the rods out now. And like I said, I'm going to be fishing fairly close in, it's about 17 foot. I'm making sure that where I've wrapped up and clipped up, I'm casting from exactly the same spot every time. So I'm fishing really nice and compact, keeping all the bait in one area, all the rig are going to be landed in the same spot all day. Now it's time to get the rods out, fish a tight line and hopefully have a few. Well, it's now 1:15 and the bailiff just came round and I told him I was zig fishing, and basically I'm in the wrong spot. Like I said earlier on, it's 17 foot here, which is pretty deep, and when I've been putting the sloppy spot out, quite a few fish have been taking the mixers from the top, so they're clearly in the surface layers and I'm just fishing too low. And because I don't really want to fish sort of 15 foot zigs by myself, I'm going to move to a shallower area. He said down by the jetty's a bit shallower and also up the other end is a lot shallower, so I'm going to bring the rods in, chuck it all in the car, do a little loop and see where it's best to set up again. Well, after driving around most of the lake, I am back about 50 foot from where I was. I'm going to be fished from the jetty where it's shallower, but everywhere else is unbelievably busy, so there was no point squeezing in between other people. I'm just going to come down the bank and fish opposite a few people. I've checked where they're fishing and I'm not going to be encroaching. So back to square one, we'll mark a float, get the rods out and spom a load on top, and hopefully be in slightly shallower water, we'll have some fish. Well, I was just starting to give up on this whole zig fishing. Several hours of no activity, and finally the 6 foot zig on the right rod, which is a yellow top, black bottom, went off. Little, probably 4 or 5 pound common, really dark in colour actually, but it put up a really good scrap, and it's one fish closer to more confidence in zig fishing. Quickly show you the other side as well, just in case this is the only fish of the day. Might as well make the most of it. There we go, here's the other side. Gonna stick this one back out, put some more spot over the top of it and probably adjust the left one to a bit shorter. Happy days, finally caught one on a zig. Well, that may have only looked like a scrappy little common, and that's because it was a scrappy little common, but it's a small success in my books. I've hated using zigs, and thought today I'm just going to go all out zigs, not be tempted to do anything else, just to try and get confidence up. And it may have been a tiny little fish, but it was a success, and it's given me a bit more confidence in using zigs. I've just put another 5 spods over the top of it. If I have another run on that right rod, then I'm definitely going to shorten the left hook link. The left hook link is only about 1.5 foot taller, but it hasn't had a touch on it yet, so if that doesn't go off and the other one does, I'll bring it down. A bit of trial and error, but a success at last. And it's been quite a long time. It's now 4:10. We got here at, I think it was 11, so quite a long time. Fingers crossed a few more. Well, I was just about to put the left rod out on a 7 foot zig as well, because that's what I had the first one on, and the first rod went off again. So I've currently got no rods in the water, and this little mirror is the culprit. So a bit more confidence, and that's 2 fish within the space of 15 minutes. So I'm going to get some more spods out, both rods out on the same depth, and hopefully we can have a few more. Now it's finally paying off. Happy days, let's get it back. There we go, it's been a couple of hours since the last fish. A load of sailboats had just started shooting off, and as I was spodding, and the left rod started having a strange take, I thought one of the boats had hooked me. I struck into it, wound along, and it was following the line the boat was taking. Turns out there was a fish on there, bigger one, probably 8-9 pound this one, but again on a 6 foot zig, well about 7 foot actually, it's just a bit taller than me. So finally had another one, and they responded. Ooh, good catch. And they responded to a few spods on the top, probably like a dinner bell. This one's ready to go back, but happy days, a third fish on nothing but zigs. We now have fish number 4. It's really kicking off now. They are reacting to the spawns going out as the second fish in a row where I've had a run whilst I'm spawning, so they're definitely reacting. And this one's an absolutely beautiful little mirror. He's not going to want to get held up. He lets me. Beautiful, pristine little mirror. I'd say just in the double figures, and that was on yellow and black foam, 7 foot zig. And like I said, they're taking as I'm spamming on the top of them. These spawns must be almost hitting them on the head because I'm only a foot or two under the water. This one gave me a good old run around, felt a nicer fish as I was playing it. So, zig confidence is on the up. Quickly show the other side as well. There we are. Dorsal up. Lovely fish. And maybe we can have a couple more. They're definitely switching onto the spawn. Let's get it back. Since the sun started going behind the trees, this bay is going to shade. I haven't had any touches since. I've nearly run out of spod mix, and the boats have just come back through and made a hell of a row and disturbed the water. I think I'm going to have to call it a day. We managed 4 fish off the zigs, and it's given me confidence. Both of them, I changed them to the 7 foot zigs, and we did eventually have a few. So I'm happy that it all paid off. We had a couple of strange one-toner takes that resulted in nothing. 4 fish out of 6 runs I'm pretty happy with, and I'm going to keep on repeating myself. It's just good. They may not have been huge fish or anything special, but it's a tactic that I have no confidence in before, and at least now I know it's another technique or tactic I can choose if the conditions are suiting to it. I've had a really nice day. I'll probably burn again, as I always do. I hope you enjoyed this video, something a bit different from me. Please hit like if you like the video, subscribe to me if you haven't already, and find me on Facebook and Instagram at Nuffinbutfishing. Cheers guys.